I have been avoiding watching the Diddy and Cassie video for a couple of different reasons, because I knew that I was going to feel how I feel right now. You know, look at this monster. Like, really? Seriously, guy? Like, what will make you want to do that? Why? This situation happened to me. And, you know, it's hard to see that because I don't have a recording of what happened to me. All I have is a memory of it that I try not to think about ever. And I was in a long-term relationship with someone, and he just could not control his emotions. He was not an evil person. He was a good person, but I don't know what happened to make him that angry to where he would do that and be uncontrollable. My sister is the one that saved me, because we had been going through some things, and we had like code words. So if I called her and I said the code word, she would know exactly what to do. So that's what happened. And while I was on the ground helpless, there was nobody to call, and he was yelling while he was kicking me and things, saying that this was the end for me and for him. And the next thing I know, the police officer barged into our room and caught him basically like in the act of this. And that is what like saved my life. And he was arrested, and he was charged with a felony, and he was facing I believe like 15 years. And they had reached out to me and asked me like, hey, do you want to testify? And at first I was scared. I was like, no, I don't want to face him. I hadn't seen him since the incident. I didn't know what was gonna happen, but he ended up getting a lawyer, and he did a plea deal. So he ended up with 10 years of probation and a felony on his record, and that was somewhat of justice as far as the legal system and everything is concerned. But, I still live with, those scars of that happening, so my heart goes out to Cassie for having to deal with this, and I'm just happy that this, even though like it being public sucks, right? But that this was out in the open, because nobody would have ever believed that he was capable of any of this stuff. It's always like my word against your word, or their word against ours, it's always that way. But just the grace of God, that camera was rolling and caught that man in the act, and for me, I was out of the state by the time that his trial and everything came along, and I'm happy that I was far removed from the situation, so I didn't have to live in it anymore. So I could just imagine what you're going through, Cassie, as you're up on that stand. I could just imagine all of the emotions and everything that you're going through, and just know, that we are here, to support you, and we appreciate you speaking up and having the courage to do the things that other people don't have the courage to do, okay? Domestic violence is no joke, okay? If you are in a domestic relationship, okay, listen, it doesn't always have to be physical. It could be emotional, okay? It could be controlling. All of that stuff is toxic. Get out of that relationship, okay? And you need to do something like have a safety plan like what I had with my sister. Like, she knew if I was to call her right now today and say this word, she knew that I was in danger, okay? And she knew that she needed to call the police, okay? So this is a lot. This is a lot to deal with, and I'm so happy that like that part of my life is over with now, and that I can talk about it freely without, you know, getting too emotional about it. Cause it still hurts. It hurts that somebody that, you know, I loved at one point in time and that said that they love me would do me like that, you know. And for him, he had all of these reasons, you know, why he would behave this way. But to be honest, there's no reason. There's no reason for anyone to behave that way. So, like I said, if you are in a domestic violence relationship, okay, get out of it. Have a safety plan. If you have children, your children do not deserve to be around that. They don't deserve it. They don't need to grow up seeing this, okay? And this could be from a male and a female's perspective. It's not just one gender, okay? I've seen the opposite, okay? But for me, this is just what happened to me. And me watching this video just sprung on all kind of emotions. And it's sad. It is a very, very sad thing. And I just wish that people would go get help. Just go get some counseling. Go talk to somebody. You know, go get those emotions out, because you do not at all have to put your hands on somebody to get a point across.